What's up, my beautiful fashionistas? You are welcome to Yvonne Winifred UG. If you are new, kindly subscribe to the channel so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. And in today's episode, we are making a nice basic men's shirt. So let us start right away. So this is the fabric I'm working with. It is Kitenge Ankara. So I have my back and front pieces here folded into two, and the fold is according to the chest measurement divided by 4 plus about some allowances. So for the front, the one that is down, the front, we have a zipper allowance of 2 inches. As you see, those are the 2 inches zipper, not zipper guys, it is button allowance. Pardon me on that, it is button allowance of 2 inches. This is a shirt, but if you want a zipper, you can use a zipper. So the length I'm working with is 28 inches, thereabout 28 and a half for the front. And for the back, as you see guys, I've changed this. I have about 4 inches. You should use 4 inches excess for the back. So the back is always 4 inches longer than the front when it comes to a shirt. So this is the back and the down one is the front. So we'll be taking all our measurements from the center back for now. So coming at the side here, I'm going down by 2 inches, and this is going to be the shoulder slant. So I'm connecting the 2 inches into this center back at the tip there, and then draw a line. So now this is the new shoulder line for now, and this is the shoulder slant. So guys, now I'm going to put my front on top. The back is down. So on top here, I'm going to mark the joining allowance of 1/2 inch and then connect a line like that. So now guys, I'm going to pull my front so that it is aligning with the back at the hemline. They are now equal at the hemline, and now the excess 4 inches are at the top here. So I'm going to fold the excess 4 inches so that they overlap onto this joining allowance of 0.5 inches line that we marked. So this is now what I have, and now this new fold there is the new shoulder. So starting my measurements from the center back here, not the button allowance, the center back, I'm taking off the shoulder measurement, half of the shoulder measurement. That is it. It is 8.5 plus 1/2 inch, so I mark 9 inches. So from the top there, I'm going down by half of the armhole measurement. Again, it is 9 inches. The armhole measurement I'm working with is 18 inches. Dividing it by 2, I get the 9. So this 9, I mark it midpoint. That is 4.5 inches, and moving at that 4.5 inches, and then start carving out the armhole. So at the top here, I go out by 1/2 inch. And then at the midpoint also 1/2 inch, then connecting to the chest line like that. So after there, I divide the chest measurement of 38 inches by 4 plus 1/2 inch as is allowance plus 1 inch as the sewing allowance. I mark that at the chest line and even at the hemline, then connect a line like that. So you can work with any allowances that you want. So now that is my shirt so far. So now for the neckline, this is a little bit tricky, but we can do it. So I mark 3 inches along the front piece, but connecting into the fold as you've seen. So now you have to mark according to the neck measurement that you have. So I marked 3 inches for the neck depth first, but I ended up correcting it as you will see. So I carve the neckline, as you've seen, into this top fold that we have for the back. So here where the fold is, I curve it a little bit. As you see there, I curve it. So now this is for the back on top. So now this is it. This is what I've been telling you. I ended up reducing it by half an inch so that it matches up with my neck measurement of 17 inches. So don't consider the button allowance when taking that measurement. So guys, I lift up my front as you've seen and into this back and then cut out. So I think you are seeing the way I'm cutting only the top pieces, the top pieces. I'm not cutting everything together. I'm only cutting on top, and that is the neckline. So after there, I just cut out the other markings that I've made like that, and simply the shirt is forming. So these are my pieces back and front, and I'm aligning everything again together so that where our fold is, I have to notch that part there, so that is where my armhole midpoint will also be. So now guys, moving on, I folded another piece of fabric for the sleeve. So first I mark out the cap's height, that is chest measurement divided by 12, whatever I get, I mark that, plus allowance over half an inch if you want. So now after there, I mark the armhole measurement of 9 inches, then draw a diagonal line to that armhole measurement, get the midpoint of that diagonal line, then carve out half an inch on top of this midpoint, the first half, and down by half an inch onto the other half of that diagonal line. So now the length of the sleeve that I'm working with is 10 inches plus the 2 inches of the folding allowance at the hemline. So I mark my 12 inches like that, and then mark out the sleeve round of 7 inches plus 1 inch as sewing allowance, then connecting to the other part of the sleeve like that. So you can mark out even that, your allowances, so that you don't forget when you're sewing. So I cut out my sleeve, and I will use that sleeve to cut out another sleeve. So I folded another piece of fabric into two like this, and I brought my back piece so that I cut out the yoke. So I trace all the back markings, the top markings, just the top, I think up to like around the chest line, and then removing it, I measure about 10 inches in length, and that is the length of the yoke, the back yoke. The back always has a yoke at the back. I think you always see it at the shirt. So this is what I'm marking, and after that I just cut it out. So it is always outside the back piece. I think you always see it in shirts, and you can even use it as a facing. So now when it comes to sewing, I'll take my pieces to the sewing machine, and I'll bring my back yoke, as you see, then pin it down at the neckline here, and it will be flipped out, it will be out onto the back piece, onto the right side of the back piece, and I'll fold half an inch like this to finish up this yoke, and then I'll just top stitch on top there, and that will be all. So this part at the neckline, I'll just leave it like that, but if you want, you can first sew it inside the back piece and then flip it out onto the right side. So guys, for the front, I'll just join the shoulders like this, and then pull it down so that it aligns with the back at the hemline and then join my sleeves accordingly. So guys, this is what I've been telling you. I've top stitched the yoke, joined the shoulders, and this is what I have. So now this is what I've been telling you. You have to pull down the front so that it aligns with the back at the hemline, and so that you correctly attach your sleeve. So I think you see the shirt is always, the back is always pulled into the front. So I've finished my sleeves along the hemline, and I'll be attaching them onto the fold, not the joining guys, but the fold where we notched there, the fold, but not the joining. So that is it guys. So now I just align my front piece properly so that I split it into two. Remember, you're supposed to split into two along the button allowance, and I'll just fold by by 1 inch twice like that, top stitch it, and that will be all when it comes to the button allowances. So now we can move on to cutting the collar. So for the collar we have two pieces. There is the downer piece, that piece that is like the bishop sleeve, and the top sleeve. So for this one, the length is according to the entire neckline plus the button allowances, and the width is about 2.5 inches, 2.25 inches, like that. So it is folded into two, and then the other one is also like this. So this one is the top piece. It is a little bit larger than the first one, and the length is the same for now, but will be we'll be modifying it later, as you'll see. So for this downer piece, the one that is kind of a bishop sleeve, it is folded into two, and I'm folding it again into two, and I'm going to mark inwards 1 inch and 1 inch from down, and then just curve the sides like this. You can just do it by freehand. You carve out the sides because it is always a little bit curved, but you can even leave it square just the way you want. This is fashion and design, you do what you want. And then I'm going to split it into two, so I have allowance on top and even at the bottom. So all together, after it is finished, it will be about 1.25 inches. So I'll be adding stiff also, so that it is a little bit it stands. So for the other piece, I also fold it just the way I folded the first one, and at the bottom here I'm moving in by 1.25 inches, 1 inch, even 1.5 can work, and then connect a diagonal line onto the top part like that, and then cut it out. So this is typically shaping out the collar, so it will be sandwiched in between the other first piece that we cut. But guys, if you want, you can even cut this entire collar at once as a one-piece collar. So that is how it will be. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add some interfacing, some stiffness, so that my collar stands out properly. So at the sewing machine, I'm working with the top piece first, and in the middle there it is supposed to go inwards by 0.5 inch and then connect straight to the ends. So I'm making sure it is neatly done. After sewing it and flipping it onto the right side, this is how it looks like. I'll just top stitch, and that top piece will be done. I'll just take it, sandwich it between the other bottom piece, the one that looks like the bishop collar, and this is it guys. After this is it. So I have a detailed tutorial about a collar. If you check in my playlist, the how-to playlist, you can find it. So I'll just join this entire collar, finish all the other things onto the shirt. You know, the hemline, the sides, and the shirt will be like this, finished all together. This is the collar after attaching it. The sleeves are already on the shirt, the sides are joined, and then I just have to add my buttons there. So this is the hemline, and guys, if you want a curved hemline, you can just move up by 1 inch there and then connect into the hemline. But for this, I just used some slits. I left about 4 inches and finished the shirt. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching.